the Function with Purpose podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education with a physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Episode number 4 of the FPT Function with Purpose podcast. Dr. Amy here. How is everybody today? I'm still locked in this closet upstairs at my mom's place with towels everywhere, shooting this episode just for you. But the subject of today's episode is, what is healthcare? What does it even mean? Well, on the previous episode, we talked a little bit about the future of physical therapy and how, well, especially Fortress, we have no affiliation with insurances because I don't want insurances telling me what to do because they didn't go to physical therapy school. Well, guess what? Healthcare, health insurance. It's actually termed wrong if you ever really thought about this, right? Health insurance is actually there to take on risk. It's there to take on risk for being sick. So really, it should be termed sickness care, not health care. Because if you're exercising, you're eating well, you're going to the gym, you're journaling, you're listening to self-improvement podcasts, or you're reading improvement books, you're getting appropriate sleep. Well, guess what? That is healthcare, right? Budgeting out, going and seeing your physical therapist or your massage therapist or your psychologist or your chiropractor or your other healthcare provider, your dentist twice a year, getting your annual physical. That's healthcare. Well, you need a budget for that. In my eyes, you need to budget for that, as if you are expecting a higher bill than normal. That's what I do. I pay everything straight cash. I don't put anything through my insurance except my yearly annual physical. Right? The public, the world portrays healthcare very incorrectly, because our insurance is supposed to take on risk for us for being sick. That's why we have deductibles, right? Of course, if we're healthy individuals, i.e. like myself, I'll give myself as an example, my quote-unquote deductible from the shared insurance that I'm on, Shared Health Alliance, that's the group I'm affiliated with. I do pay a monthly premium, but I also have a deductible that I have to meet. So if I'm kind of like a super sick person, of course I want a lower deductible because I meet that threshold faster when and if I do become sick. And then the rest of my insurance, health insurance or sickness insurance, we should say, takes care of the rest primarily afterwards, right? So it should definitely be termed sickness care because it takes on the risk of being sick, right? Maybe people who are recovering from COVID, right? Or even a bout of cancer. Lots of chemotherapy or radiation. Now that's expensive. Super expensive. I remember when my dad was sick, he passed from cancer, melanoma to be exact, and he would have to go in probably like every 8 to 12 weeks, actually probably 8 weeks, maybe 6, so long ago, over 10 years ago. he had to get gamma knife surgery. And gamma knife is a form of radiation to the brain, but it's very focal and local. Well, let me tell you, that was expensive. He had well over $1 million of expenses. And I remember at the time my dad had Blue Cross Blue Shield of West Virginia. And that thing was a godsend. That was sickness care. We barely had to pay anything. I remember my mom and dad barely had to pay any bills because he met his deductible very quickly, just based from an MRI, pretty much, or a CT scan of his head. So that is what you think, or the public thinks, of what health insurance or health care is, right? Having the insurance. Well, I want a cheap premium. I want a low deductible so I don't have to pay my bills. I want a low copay. Yes, those are all good things to consider, but healthcare is truly you taking the initiative, that initial step of caring for yourself, because ultimately, when it comes down to it, you have the power to make yourself better. You have the power to make yourself more well if you change your behaviors. And I don't know about you, after going through this 2020 pandemic, that really, really honed in on my needs versus wants, and knowing where to put my energy more so in one area or in one priority versus another. Now, granted, yeah, I'm a physical therapist. I can do a little bit of self treatment. But man, if I want to get some body tempering done or something on my back, huh, I had to come up with an alternative, like laying on a foam roller or laying on 2 tennis balls duct taped together. That's how we used to roll in West Virginia, duct tape everything. Or had my master's athlete walk on my back. She only weighs about 110 pounds. But that's healthcare, right? Making exercise, eating well, getting quality of sleep, honing in on my nutrition basics, i.e., trying to drink a lot of water throughout the day, having a set schedule of going to bed at a certain time, waking up at 5 every day. No matter what, I was up. I had my schedule, right? I'm very blessed and lucky that I've never been sick in my life. I only broke my ankle when I was 10, so I'm pretty sure my parents' deductible was met that visit. But yeah, just kind of some food for thought there. What does health care mean to you, or health insurance, right? Or sickness care is really what the term should be. Health insurance kicks in when sickness care is occurring, right? So always do your research. You can always reach out to a physical therapist if you need some help or some better understanding. And personally, if I don't know the answer, I will try to seek out the answer as best as possible. But food for thought to leave you. What does healthcare mean to you? What is incorporated within your own healthcare? And we always want to, on this little spectrum, I remember going through my level 1 CrossFit certification course, which is awesome, by the way, as well as the level 2. They portray this and talk about this again. You think of this line, the straight line, and then you have an arc, a 180-degree arc. Well, on one end, there's sickness. In the middle, there's wellness. And then on the other 180 end is fitness. Well, of course, we want to stay away from sickness and disease, right? And we want to be at that 90 degree to that other half of the 180 between the wellness and fitness end. Well, what are some things that you do for your healthcare in order to stay in that spectrum? For me, daily exercise, sleeping, proper nutrition, digging deeper into my nutrition hygiene, meaning when I sit down and eat what's on my plate, I try to gain all of my senses: smell, vision, Am I chewing 20 times before I swallow? Am I taking my time, etc.? Getting my annual checkups, and even doing my own self assessment. What's my heart rate? What's my blood pressure? What's my body temperature, especially since we're still in COVID right now? I check that every day. And might be a little bit of too TMI, but going to the bathroom. Is my urine clear? Is number 2 solid? What kind is number 2? I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Poo. Poo-poo. Okay. All right. All that's going to coincide with how well you eat, how well you're rested, and stuff that we don't see underneath the skin. Hormone level. Different chemicals that are going on. Cortisol. Is there any inflammation that's going on that you're feeling? Do your joints feel tight? Those are all things that correspond with healthcare or sickness care, right? But sickness care is really what health insurance is for, right? Healthcare is you being able to budget where you want to put your energy. Budget that money to go see your physical therapist once a month. Budget that money to go to your massage therapist once or twice a week or once or twice a month, right? Budget to see your clinical psychologist. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, this will be for another episode. If you have a health savings account or a flexible spending account, you can utilize that payment system for healthcare expenses that you're currently putting up as a priority for you. So, physical therapy is actually a part of a healthcare expense. Well, look at that. Isn't that cool? All right, you guys. So that's it for today's episode. But really think about what are you doing for your healthcare, which then in turn helps you avoid sickness care. Think of that continuum that I just talked about. You got sickness on one end, and all the way at 180, you have fitness on the other, and then in the middle there's wellness. We want wellness and fitness spectrum rather than wellness or unwell and sickness and disease, right? So what are you doing to stay on the latter pendulum? That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose podcast. For more information on this episode, check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.